it's time to really learn how to play this instrument properly so that you can play with freedom and beautiful sound and not experience shoulder pain and neck pain and back pain and all the things that often come with poor position habits. To really get the most out of this video, watch each step that I explain, pause the video, and try it yourself in front of a mirror. And that's really important. Seriously, take your computer and your instrument to the bathroom or wherever you have the biggest mirror in your house. And as I'm talking about different aspects of violin position, you're actually watching yourself in the mirror. You'll make such faster progress that way, and you'll be much more happy with the result. So let's jump in. We're actually going to start without our violin. The first step is to start with your feet together. Then you'll make a small V with your feet and take a small step forward with your left foot. And what this does is it gives you a good sense of balance, almost as if you were a martial artist. Usually they might take a bigger step forward and we only take a small step, but it's the same principle. You're creating balance. As you stand this way, I want you to put a little bit more of your weight on your left foot than your right foot. So you're not standing back here and you're not letting your hip come out this way. Everything is straight up and down, very neutral, tall position, and just a little bit more weight on that front left foot. Okay, now hopefully you already have a shoulder bar for your instrument. I have a related video on how to put on a shoulder bar and how to adjust the feet and so forth, so you can check that out for more details, but just really quickly I'll show you how to put it on. You're going to find the shorter end and put that on the edge that's closest to your chin rest. The other side is going to come across and maybe slide down a little bit, and you want to achieve this shape. So this side is kind of higher and closer to the chin rest, and then on this side there's more of the wood showing and it's sloped down this way. Now to put your violin up on your shoulder, I first want you to start with your violin in front of you. Go ahead and grab the neck with your left hand, and then you're going to carefully turn it around and put it up onto your shoulder. Okay, some really important things as you do this. Your violin is not going to go in front of you like this. You might be surprised by how far up on your shoulder your violin actually goes. So you see the edge of my shoulder bar is all the way up here on my shoulder. It's not in front of me this way. Now, this is called a chin rest, but it's actually kind of a misnomer because you don't put your chin on it the way you might think. Instead, find the middle of your jaw and line up the middle of your jaw with the middle of the chin rest. So your head is actually facing forward and maybe ever so slightly to the left, but it's still in this very neutral, straight position. And then it's okay to turn your head very slightly to the left and even tilt your head slightly to the left. Sometimes with beginners, I see people trying to put their chin over here on the wood or just kind of in the middle or way over here. But again, if you just line up the middle of your jaw with the middle of the chin rest, you're most likely going to get it right. A common mistake I see among beginner violinists is the tendency, now that you've got your violin high enough on your shoulder, to put your violin way out here facing away from your body. But if you do that, you actually will have a very difficult time reaching more advanced notes. So actually, I want you to pull your violin in. Remember how I said this curly part is called the scroll? You want to put your violin up so that your scroll is pointing 45 degrees left of the center of your body. Now that you're holding your violin properly, I want you to do a check to make sure that your shoulder bar is actually supporting your body correctly. So the check for that is to put your violin up and then try dropping your hand. Do you notice as I drop my hand from the violin, my violin doesn't move at all? I can even keep talking to you while holding up the violin pretty easily. So my violin isn't scooching forward like this or starting to fall as I play. So you might have to adjust the height of your shoulder bar and experiment with adjusting the height on both sides, maybe in different directions. I find that I like this part of the shoulder bar to be pretty short, and this part, the other side of the shoulder bar, to be pretty long. So I don't have my feet adjusted exactly the same on both sides, and maybe you won't either. Make sure that as you're doing this check, you're not letting your shoulder lift up, okay? We don't want any shoulder tension as we play violin. And if you are feeling some pain up here in your jaw area, that's probably not your shoulder rest. It may be that your chin rest is uncomfortable. So chin rests can also be swapped out pretty easily. You might be able to just try out some different ones and see what works best for your body. Now, there are a couple of different schools of thought on where to put your thumb on the violin, but I'm going to show you the way that I was taught, which is also where I see most professional violinists putting their thumb. So here I've switched to my student instrument that has tapes on it, and I've put a little corn cushion over here to show you where you put your thumb. So your thumb is going to go over here. Now it's okay for this part of your first finger to be touching the violin on the other side like this. This gives you plenty of room to curl down your first finger to play on your first finger tape. Now, when it comes to the placement of the left hand, there are two common beginner mistakes that I often see with students. One is letting your elbow come way out here, pointing away from your body. Instead, you want your elbow to come in. So it's actually not even in a neutral spot up and down. It curves in toward the center of your body. And what that does is it allows you to more easily reach all of the notes, even up on the G string. The second issue that I see is students turning their hand this way as they play. So this is really important. Don't let your wrist curve out this way. It makes it very difficult to reach the notes, and you may never be able to reach your fourth finger. Instead, I want you to make sure that you are keeping your hands in a neutral position. That also means that this part of the wrist is flat. So your wrist isn't going out like this, and it's not collapsing into the violin this way either. This can be a little bit tricky because every beginner violinist seems to want to play like this, with their wrist collapsed in to help hold the violin. So instead, think of your whole arm as being flat as a tabletop. Your wrist isn't anywhere near that violin. It's down here because this is what's flat. And you're putting your fingers down this way. Okay, that's everything. Let's review really quick. Are you making sure that your left foot is slightly forward? I so often see students wrap themselves around the instrument instead of keeping their body in a neutral upright position and having the violin come to them. Is your violin up here on your shoulder, not in front of you this way? And you're making sure that the middle of your jaw is lined up with the center of the chin rest. Your head is in a neutral position, straight or slightly to the left, not to the right like this. This is another common beginner mistake. You're able to drop your hand from the violin without the violin falling or sliding forward. You're not using any tension in your shoulders to lift your violin into place. Your thumb and this part of your hand are touching the violin on either side, way down here, lower than your first finger tape. Your elbow is in and your wrist is in a neutral position, not out, not this way, and not out to the side either. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to put tapes on your violin. This makes it so much easier because it shows you where to put your fingers and it helps train your ear to really hear those pitches in tune. So head on over there and I'll see you soon.